For Halloween, I should wear like a Halloween mask or something for the screen. I think that'd be hilarious. Oh, what are you doing? That'd be so funny. What do you think, Devin? No, you won't enjoy it. Wow, whatever, man. I get it. What's that? A purge mask? I don't know about that. Current events. Holden and Tiff. Holden's still not here. Where's he at? Oh, he's like gone. Gone for good. Okay, here we go. Bell ringer for today. Describe how no common currency was another weakness of the Articles of Confederation. Why did the U.S. decide not to have an executive? New bell ringer sheet. Good stuff there. Good stuff. We are presenting and recording. Good. What's up, Lydia? Won't come up. So now what? Check it out. Well, we need another app or something. I'm sorry. Yeah, oh. Alex, how was the scrimmage?
One a lot better than the first one.
Oh,
We won.
okay. Were they pretty good?
They weren't that bad.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we didn't start off so well. We had the very first play. We had a high snap.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was a fumble or what?
We just lost some yards. But after we started getting into the game more, we got our heads together and started doing pretty good.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So who scored the touchdowns?
One kid from Hellers Road.
Oh, was it a pass?
Yeah.
Nice. Triple H. Hayden Harder. Hayden Hands Harder. Give you guys a little bit more time. This is a longer one. About 1 or 2 more minutes. Still Boston.
I know there's not that.
Yeah, I just ready to pass here. So let me call down there before you go, okay?
Okay.
Just a second. All right. Hey, Nurse Jane, how you doing? Not too bad. Is it all right if I send the student down? Okay. All right. Yep. Bye. Go ahead, sir. All right, ready? Are you ready? Okay. Let's go over this real quick. Describe how no common currency was another weakness of the Articles of Confederation. No common currency? What the heck? Lydia, what do you got?
I said it was hard for other states to do business. There's different money, and the money became worthless.
Okay, yeah, good job. So all the states having different forms of currency would be really hard for trade. Okay, these European countries that want to try to trade with the United States, especially buy our resources, right? Our cash crops. Depending what state they talk to or have any type of relationship with, each state's going to have their different form of currency. So that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Okay, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Same with interstate relations. Okay, so as long as if these states are trading with one another, the currency is all different. Or if even if you're just a consumer of different types of resources. So let's say you're in Pennsylvania, you want to buy some resources in Maryland, and I don't know, since you're down there, you might as well go down to Virginia and get some tobacco, right? You're going to have to trade up all your different forms of currency and get it to a point where you're going to have to convert it towards that state's currency. And with inflation rates and different types of worth of the dollar, okay, this could be a challenge for many people, and especially with states buying different products from other states. It's going to be tough. Okay, so common currency was another weakness that they needed to solve. All right, good. Why did the U.S. decide not to have an executive within their government? And why was this an issue? Alex, what do you got?
I said that I not have an executive as an issue because they didn't have somebody leading the country and the government was very weak.
All right, yeah, good job. Good job. So it was to a point where the United States didn't want to form a central authority figure. Okay, they don't want to try to have someone that looks like a monarch or an overarching absolute leader. Okay, they want to make sure that the country, again, that is designed to have the states of freedom to run the way they want and to develop their own forms of constitutions and written laws for their people. So creating executive would almost look like they're trying to create another monarch, right? A person with absolute power. And that's what they decide not to do, which, hey, it was a good idea, right? We don't want to have an absolute monarch. We just broke away from Great Britain with King George III and the problems that they faced with him, and they don't want to try to create that issue. But some problems or issues, weaknesses of that is that really who has the control, who has the authority to enforce the laws and make sure that people abide by the rules that are set out by government. Okay, there's no political figure to look up to in times of need, all right, or problems or issues. Okay, eventually, which we talked about, the weaknesses and problems of the Articles of Confederation. There's going to be a lot of rebellions that emerge from this, and trying to solve these weaknesses and problems. Okay, we're going to talk about two in particular with Shays Rebellion, Whiskey Rebellion, and how that was really dealt with taxes. But again, executive. If you don't have an executive, who's going to enforce the laws? Who's there to look up to in a time of need or distraught times? Okay, they needed a formative an executive branch. All right. Is there any questions on those two weaknesses? Good with that? All right. So terms for today. Here we go. We're getting into more influences of our government. Do we do Mayflower Compact? Yeah? Okay. We'll do formula. All right. There you go. They're the four for today. I'll give you some time to look those up, and we'll discuss it. We'll talk about them. Yeah, awesome. We just went over the bell ringer, okay? You good on that? You have any questions? Okay. All right, we good? All right, let's go over this. Great fundamentals. Here we go. What do we have? What do we got for this one? Sarah, what do you have?
I said, like 1636 established
Yeah, good job. So to have a form of representative government, okay, so where we will elect representatives to help us lead the colony, right? Good job, good job. So our voice is heard to try to elect representatives, okay, give these people certain rights, okay, in the colonies. Good, good job. And this is another foundation for the United States government, or our Constitution. Okay, we'll look to that as we're trying to create our Constitution and make sure that these representative officials are serving the people. All right, good. Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. What do we have here? What do we have here? Alex, what do you got?
It's the orders that set the structure and powers for the Connecticut River.
Okay, yeah, good job. So, especially with Connecticut, they wanted to make sure that they could control these river routes to trade. Okay, make sure that they can trade their assets or resources. All right. Another idea of it was just to set a portion of rights to their people. Okay, that government really is limited in what they can do. Okay, so that rights are granted to the people, and that government really can't take away those rights at all. All right, good job. Really, this is one of the first signs of a constitution in the colonies. Okay, and that's kind of why they call Connecticut a constitution state. Okay, constitution state. Delaware, we know, is the one that first accepted the Constitution, the United States Constitution, but a lot of our fundamentals, our ideas that we created in our U.S. Constitution came from this idea from Connecticut. All right, good. Stamp Act. All right, Stamp Act. We all should know this one. Alex, what do you got, man?
There was an act by Britain that exactly revenue from the American colonies and imposing stamp duty on newspapers and commercial documents.
Yeah, good job. So paper products, right? Make sure that there's a tax on that and to try to generate revenue, pay off some of the debts from the French and Indian War, but pissed off a lot of colonists. Like, oh, this is crazy. Why are we paying a tax on these type of items? That's ridiculous. All right, good. So you guys should know that already. Intolerable acts. Coercive acts. What do we have? Z, what do you got, man?
Connecticut laws passed by the British Parliament in 1774 after the Boston Tea Party that punished Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah, good job. So it's Great Britain's idea. It's like, you know what? After that Boston Tea Party, we're going to make sure that you guys pay for this. We're going to put these acts. There's many different types of authoritative measures that Great Britain was putting on in the Massachusetts colony. And they want to, like, this is where we see the Quartering Act being established. Okay, this is where we see many of the acts of violence that Great Britain soldiers put on the people of the, in the colonies. If there's any type of harsh treatments or any type of even killings, that these Great Britain, these soldiers, they'll be forgiven of those punishments. Okay. And really, it was just acts that were pushed on to the people, the colonists of Massachusetts, to try to repay from the damages of the Boston Tea Party. Set an example to show that Great Britain has still authoritative rule over these people. Okay. All right. Is there any questions on that, guys? Is there anything else we could add to these? I'm sure there is. I mean, what do we have? Anything else? Okay, that's it then. All right, we're going to move on. The last two weaknesses here of the Articles of Confederation. Last two. I have a short video, and that's it. That's it. I'll finish up class for today. So you're getting out lucky on a Monday. How's that, Alex? Yeah, heck yeah, that's awesome. All right, so let's just review real quick the four we went over so far. So the first one, what was the first weakness of the Articles of Confederation that was very concerning? Z, you remember? What was that first weakness of the ASC? Articles of Confederation. Remember? Oh, the weekend got away with you, huh? You just forgot everything. Lydia? Yeah, no taxation, okay. How are we going to afford to try to build a military? How are we going to try to provide public services? How are we going to try to protect our people within our own states, okay? There's many different things that we can talk about. Public services, like I said. Economic decisions. The four main purposes of government. How are we going to try to protect that and instill that in our country? Okay, without taxation, it's going to be hard to do. All right, what's another one? What's another weakness? Devin, do you remember? What's another weakness we talked about so far? What was the second one that we discussed? Okay, yeah, we'll talk about no executive. All right, we just went over that on Friday. Good job. So no executive. So no, figurehead that we can really look to in times of crisis. Okay, someone to enforce laws. Okay, good. All right, Z.
No form of currency.
Okay, yep. Good job. Currency. That was a bell ringer. So no common currency. Going to be hard to trade amongst the states and European countries. Dealing with trade is going to be tough to do. Good job. And what was the last one we talked about? This one kind of gets forgotten. What was the last weakness? Do you remember? Hannah, do you remember?
No national court.
Yeah, no national court. Good job. So how are we going to try to solve civil disputes? How are we going to solve state relations and issues and problems moving forward? Okay, we need a central authority. We need a central government to try to decide and solve these issues amongst the states. Okay, no national court. Good job. Good job. All right, 2 more weaknesses. Here we go. Problem 5, interstate commerce was not regulated. So the national government has control of interstate commerce, okay, trade amongst the states, transportation. Okay, make sure that we're not trying to sabotage each other. Okay, especially in the early developments of the United States. Okay, there's a lot of rivalries between the states, especially with economic growth. Okay, get some light in here, will you? What do you think? No, you want to leave it dark. Lydia's lair, right? The dark layer. Okay. So interstate commerce, this was a huge issue, especially with these states at the start of our country, especially with representation. Okay. Some states like Virginia, they're very greedy and they have a bigger population. Okay, so they wanted to make sure that they have more representation in government. And they also wanted to make sure that, if we're going to get any type of funding from the central government eventually, which really didn't happen at the start of it, that we should get more of it because we have more people. We provide a lot of the assets of our country with tobacco, okay, the cash crops, indigo, okay, different things like that. So Virginia really wanted to try to get more, I guess you could say, more funding, more protection, okay, make sure that their people are heard more. Because let's face it, a lot of our economy based off of Virginia at this time. So interstate commerce, this came to a point where states were really trying to sabotage each other. Okay, they would put taxes on different items that they trade with one another. Okay, so let's say Virginia and North Carolina wanted to try to trade indigo and tobacco. Okay, once they're buying these assets, North Carolina is like, you know what? Virginia is really trying to have more say in government. They're kind of jerks to the point where they're trying to run the new country here. So let's put a tax on the items that we're trading with them. So if they want these items, they're going to have to pay a heavy tax. Okay, and it came to a point where these states were really competing against one another in economic battles. Okay, and it was like trade wars in a way at the early starts of the United States and during its Articles of Confederation. The states were really acting as their own entities and trading with other European countries and really purchasing these different items and setting trade or taxes and different types of really regulations on their trade towards the other states, and to a point where there's always a constant competition. And if we want to try to unite and try to move forward, we need to try to come together and really have the central authority figure controlling commerce amongst the states. Okay, so that was another weakness. Okay, states were always competing against one another with the resources, taxing different items to really try to sabotage the other. Okay, and especially these southern states like Virginia, North Carolina. Okay, they are always trying to really push their item, their resource, tobacco, towards the European markets. So it came to a point where they're just really sabotaging each other. There was always a lot of competition. Okay, all right. Last one, state veto powers. Okay, state veto powers. All right, so Congress could not pass laws without the approval of 9 states. Okay, so this just shows how weak the central authority was, the central government was. Okay, without the approval of 9 states, they couldn't pass any laws, any regulations. And you think all the states agreed with one another? No, right? Especially with the interstate commerce problem. A lot of these states were out to get each other, okay, trying to show their superiority, trying to really gain a step up against one another when it comes to trading, resources, assets, representation in government, okay? It was to a point where it was just constant competition that nothing really got done. These states really couldn't bind together. Now, obviously, this will lead to when we get to the Civil War. This will still cause issues and problems, right, all the way up until the Civil War. And I always, especially these New Jersey drivers, these people from New Jersey, they can't drive whenever I'm going to Sea Isle or anything like that. But I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I think it's funny. It's like all this interstate battles, okay? Especially with sports too. It's like, oh, with wrestling and PA, we're 10 times better in New Jersey. There's competition here. But anyway, veto powers. All right. The articles cannot be changed without the agreements of all 13 states. Okay, so this was an issue. All right, this was an issue. All the states had to be together, and all the states had to come together and agree on one topic and one decision. And let's face it, all the states were different, especially with their location, okay, their environment. All right, whenever they're talking about maybe it's just regulations or any type of new laws, each state's going to have a different concerning topic depending on that form of legislation or law. Okay, we kind of know today. I mean, with California, Pennsylvania, if you set a law that's supposed to be nationwide, that spreads across the nation, we're not going to have agreement on all the states. They're not all going to come together and agree on the same thing. So it's going to be very difficult to pass any types of laws or regulations. Okay, so veto power is definitely an issue. All right. Is there any questions on those 2 weaknesses? Sure? Okay. Well, that's all I got. I'm going to play a short video, and we'll move on tomorrow talking about some of the issues that arise with this Articles of Confederation and the development of our Constitution and how that will cause some issues. All right. So short video describing some of the weaknesses and impacts on the United States government. I got to stop the recording just for a second. Copyright.